Alright guys, we're going to talk about the transition, and I can spend a lot of time talking about the transition in the muscle up because that's where people tend to screw it up. So if that's the case, and if that's something you're struggling with is a transition and you've nailed hip to rings, I would be happy if you guys want to send me videos, and I can look and figure out what's happening in that transition and what's going on, and maybe fix your muscle ups. But we're going to talk about some progressions that you guys can work on with the transition. And so with the transition, it's all about speed, so speed with the hip to rings, and timing of shoulders coming over the top. The other part of the transition is that people aren't aggressive enough. Okay? It has to be fast, it has to be aggressive. So the hip to rings is a slow, patient pull, and then when you actually move through the transition, it should be fast and aggressive. So one of the drills, we do a couple of progression drills through CrossFit gymnastics that I want to go over that I like, and I have found that it works with people. Also a good way for me to spot faults in the transition. So the first one, we're going to be starting on the ground. So when you start on the ground, you want to make sure that your back is completely on the ground. You've got a full grip, arms are extended, okay, directly under the rings, under the bar. So here, my back is going to stay, so most of my back is going to stay on the ground. It's about mid-back, lower back comes off, feet are going to be here, and then from here I'm going to drive and transition, okay? So, back, feet over, feet on the ground, here. So one of the goals in the transition is that you bring the shoulders over the top of the rings. Okay? So something that I see here, or fault that I see commonly in this position, is that when people transition, they usually tend to be really aggressive and drive the hips straight up, and then they try to pull and transition, and they get kind of stuck and sandwiched in the middle, and they don't have anywhere for their shoulders to go because their legs are still in the way. So something to think about is that when your shoulders are transitioning over the top of the rings, that your hips should be coming back underneath. So the direction, shoulders, hips, as soon as your shoulders clear the top of the rings, your hips and your feet need to be transitioning underneath the rings. Okay? Once you've mastered this one tends to be a little bit easier concept for people to grab. You're going to raise the rings, and you're going to start from a hanging position, or inverted hanging position. Big thing here, guys, on fault that I see is that people want to start with their hips too high, so they're almost completely upside down in this position. So you're going to start, make sure, getting into this position, that you're not swinging in the ring. So start with a bended arm. You're going to start here. Notice my back is parallel to the ground. From here, transition, feet find the ground, shoulders come over the top. Okay, so one more time. And last one. This is going to be the true tell of whether or not you are actually making it through that transition. You can catch and have your feet not touch the ground at all, okay? So one more time. Catching in that, ring support position in the muscle up. So 3 progressions for you guys to work on. As you master one, you'll slowly start to raise the rings and move into the next progression.